When Tristen Chernove took up cycling in 2009, it was the start of a journey which would see the Powell River native reach the world stage.
Generally, if I find an interest, I don't dabble in it. I tend to go all out.
Chernove was drawn to cycling after being diagnosed with Charcot-Marie tooth disease, or CMT, a hereditary and degenerative condition which affects leg and arm functions. In Tristen's case, it was his lower legs.
Really wanted to get into a sport that was going to make my legs as strong as possible and try to counteract the deficits I was going to be having from the disease.
It still remains to be seen whether or not cycling will have a positive effect on his condition. But one thing is certain, Chernove has no trouble riding a bike.
He is so fast that, I'll be doing all I can to keep going, to keep up, and he goes ahead and then loops back and then goes ahead, blasts up hills.
When I can use the most effective part of my body and still be very effective, it makes me feel much more hopeful.
Impressed with his progression, Cycling Canada would eventually pair Chernove with coach Guillaume Plaude in July of 2015 as part of Canada's next-gen cycling team. And Plaude immediately saw the potential.
When you have somebody that does a lot of volume and you switch the stimulation to a high-intensity workout, this is where you start to see super huge speed gains.
After just over 6 months, Chernove would qualify for Canada's national high-performance paracycling team and the Track World Championships in Italy.
The notion of a world championship never came into my mind at all. It was that I hoped to be very competitive.
Competing in the C2 paracycling category, the 40-year-old would surprise even himself, riding his way to gold medals in the 1,000-metre time trial and the 3,000-metre pursuit. However, the efforts of his fellow para-athletes would provide a valuable perspective.
It made me leave realizing that no matter where my body goes from here, no matter what happens with the disease that I have, as long as I'm willing, there's ways to adapt.
Currently, Chernove spends 15 to 20 hours a week training both on the road and here in his basement. The perfect environment as he looks for continued improvement ahead of the Paralympics in September.
I can monitor exactly my power, my heart rate, my cadence, and then I've got all these data files that I can send to the coaches, which then are shared with physiologists, so the training can constantly adapt to how your body is adapting.
And as he continues to strive for a shot at Paralympic glory, he will do so with his family behind him every step of the way.
I see how happy it makes him, and I want him to do as much physically as he can while he can.
The 2016 Paralympics take place in Rio de Janeiro from September 7th to the 18th. For Go in Cranbrook, I'm James Farnan.